So,
Can I stand here?
ladies and gentlemen, please
Thank
come
you.
in. Oh, wait, no, 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 no.
They're running out of room. Go, just fill in here. Keep going. Keep coming. Just fill up in here. Come in this side. Keep coming in. Keep coming in. More room. Come on, keep coming in. Good. It's good to be here with you. This is so good. I'm telling you, I agree. I don't even know you, I'm just saying. I'm an organizer.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're all here. First of all, I want to welcome our students, and I thank them very much for joining us today. And these are our Board of Trustees members, and we decided, knowing that you were coming, that rather than have you wait or disrupt the meeting in any way, that we would welcome you and make certain that you feel very involved in this meeting. So we welcome all of you here. I just want to say a couple of things if I can. We have a first principle at this university, and that first principle is that we do not tolerate racism and intolerance on our campus. I've made that clear on a number of occasions. I made that clear yesterday immediately, and I appreciate how the students responded to that. And I want to say this: I'm grateful for the students coming today. I really am, because I'm grateful for you to express your concerns and your thoughts. And I'm grateful to have some of my faculty colleagues here. I appreciate that, because this is not about the university versus anything. This is about all of us together. This is about Ohio State, and I love the sign right there that says number one Ohio State, stand your ground. That's what we're doing together today. That was what we did yesterday. I had an opportunity to visit with a number of our students at the Health Center, and I encourage you to speak out then, because I think voices need to be heard, and that's what we're doing today. This is an encouraging moment in that regard, and by speaking out, that is what moves the university forward. Certainly, as a university, as a community, as a country, and as a people, and this is not simply about Ohio State, although the privilege that all of us have of being at this university is the fact that we play a significant role in the culture of this country, from what we do, how we act, and the role of the university is to lead. It is not to follow. The role of the university is to set high standards, not to allow other people to set our standards or to lower our standards. And I think that that's so enormously important in terms of these conversations today. So, I want you to know that we had already talked about these issues yesterday. This is not something that we just lay dormant. In fact, we have a very important group of this board, our Diversity and Inclusion Working Group, chaired by Judge Marley. We've already been talking about these issues, and I can ask Judge Marley to respond in a moment, but first I would like to hear from you. I think it's important, and I know the two students who have been designated to speak. James and I just had an opportunity to speak yesterday, as did Lachey and I, James Hayes and Lachey Roach. So we would welcome what you have to say, and then we'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit more. James?
Good morning. We stand here today.
Excuse me, is that your
Mike.
microphone on? I want to make sure everyone can hear you. Yeah, okay, great, thank you.
Good morning. We stand here today in response to the hate crime that happened in the early hours of April 5th. We emphasize the term hate crime because it was not mere vandalism that denigrated the west wall of the Frank W. Hale Jr. Black Cultural Center, but an act of hatred. In the wake of these events, the black community and their allies are engaged in conversation about how to improve the climate at OSU and ensure the safety of all students at the university. In the coming days, this will be an ongoing conversation, and we imagine that we will bring additional issues to your attention. But for now, we have identified 3 minimum requirements as our first steps toward protecting our community, enhancing our well-being, and promoting a culture of inclusion at OSU.
Number 1, hate crime alerts. We demand the university establish and implement institutionalized hate crime alerts to raise awareness of racist, sexist, homophobic, and other hateful actions and discourage future guided incidents. In its efforts to protect the student body at OSU, the administration should be as concerned about racially motivated hate crimes as they are about all forms of crime. Number 2, increase diversity, both at the students and faculty level. The university claims that diversity must be among its core values. We agree. Everyone in the university community benefits when we exist in a diverse learning environment. Currently, Black faculty comprise less than 3% of the overall faculty at OSU. And the numbers of Black undergraduates at OSU's main campus have been steadily declining over the last several years. If it is true that the university values diversity, then it should demonstrate its commitment by actively recruiting students, faculty, and staff that represent the face of America. Therefore, we demand that the university administration commit itself to the goal of having OSU become proportionally representative to the racial and ethnic composition of our nation. And number 3, inclusion, not just tolerance. We demand dignity, respect, and recognition for all people, students, faculty, and staff. We are engaging in ongoing dialogue about ways in which the university can create a more inclusive community. Obviously, this is a complex issue, and it will take time for us to reach definitive solutions to this challenging problem. However, we hope that the university administration will keep their doors open to us and actively participate in these conversations with us as we move forward together to create, in the words of our illustrious president, one university.
The students, faculty, and staff, as well as concerned citizens in our community, are in a state of unrest. We will not bow to this intimidation, and we will not be silenced until our requirements are met.
Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, thanks to both of you, and I will tell you that those are very reasonable responses that you have, and I appreciate how you have presented them. Let me also say that we've been talking about those very issues. the nice thing is that these are not issues that are new to us. I do want to say something. One of our trustees and I were talking this morning. We have a proud history at Ohio State. Ohio State has consistently been the leader in terms of diversity issues in this country. In fact, for many years, even today, we produce the largest number of black PhDs in the country. And thanks to Dr. Hale, we created a climate here that was unprecedented in this nation. We want to continue that climate. I certainly want to make sure that we enhance that climate. Saying that, I think that it would probably be appropriate because Judge Margaret is here to if you wouldn't mind responding, Judge, just on behalf of the board. And by the way, I want to know something. If the students look around, if they look around this board, a third of our board are African Americans. This is a board that does live by the notion that we are representative of America in the very best sense of the word. And so I hope that as you take a look at us, you see yourself reflected in the very best sense of that. Saying that, Judge Marble.
Thank you, Dr. Gibb. I want to say at the outset that we are aligned with you. We aren't, we don't have different agendas. We have the same agenda. It's consistent with what we've done. It's consistent with what we've always done. It's consistent to our approach to university governance. We began yesterday our academic affairs and student life meeting with the discussion of the hate speech incident. Dr. J reported on it to the community, and so that everyone has context, the words were a long-lived Zimmerman that was spray painted onto the Frank Hale Cultural Center, and we reported on it. Dr. J reported on it. Dr. Gee, we affirmed the university's commitment to zero tolerance for hate speech and those types of related crimes. And Dr. J reaffirmed that as head of student life, and our committee reaffirmed it as well. So there is alignment. Secondly, I have been fortunate, along with Dr. Reed, to chair the Diversity and Inclusion Work Group. And the purpose of that work group is to devise a diversity and inclusion plan for the university that will be a part of the university's strategic plan. So diversity and inclusion is not some outlier that is brought in every time we have an incident, but it permeates every aspect of this university, because we are one university and we are educating citizens of the world. The world that you will inherit will be a diverse world, where the types of things that you're fighting against are the same types of things that the rest of the world is fighting against, because we all want diversity and inclusion, and we want to live in a world that is a tolerant one. Now, with respect to the items that you raised as your primary issues, I'm happy to say that our working group is already on it. One of the things that we have done is to have engaged the services of consultants who will help us devise a diversity plan. And one of the issues that we are looking at, the number of minority students on campus, and that number has actually not decreased. That number has increased, but the way the reporting requirements are, they're such that if you are one or more races, and many of our diverse student body will fall into that category, they're no longer checking the box that said African American, as historically was done 10 years ago, but they're checking the box that says two or more races. But in terms of absolute numbers, our numbers actually have not decreased, but they have increased. But we want to, we aren't satisfied just to have a flat line. We want to continue to provide the type of learning environment that is reflective of the world that you will inherit, the world in which you will have to live and work, and that is a diverse world. We also are looking at the issue of faculty recruitment and retention, as well as the recruitment and retention of the most talented staff that we can bring to this university, and that will be a diverse staff. We are interested in the ongoing dialogue, not just the dialogue that centers around discrete incidents, but an ongoing dialogue so that we can fashion the right type of atmosphere here at The Ohio State University. And one of the things that Dr. Yee has authorized us to do is to create a task force that will include members from your group that will look into this incident and that will look into the issues that are of paramount importance to you and to this university, because what is at stake is students first. And you know, one of our guiding principles, one of Dr. Yee's 6 points of life, as we used to call it, is students first. And so we will have student input in whatever we do with respect to this particular incident and on an ongoing basis. So we'll have a continual dialogue, so we won't find ourselves in this position again where we could arguably be being reactive as opposed to proactive. And so we welcome your comments, we welcome your input. We are all proud of the way that you have responded in a responsible and orderly manner. It shows the best of you, and it also shows the best of this university. So while we do have this dark cloud, we also have you as a silver lining, because you have responded, you have identified the problem, and you have given us prescriptive ways to address the problem. And if I had a student that I could model, it would be that type of student who would identify a problem and seek to remedy the problem. And so we couldn't be prouder of what you have done here today, because you have acted in the best interest and the best spirit of this great university.
Thank you. Dr. Reed, I would really welcome your comments also.
Well, I want to echo the comments of Judge Barbley. The fact that you are here means that you do care. And the fact that, as you said, sir, sorry I didn't catch your name, if you could.
James Hayes.
James Day?
James Hayes.
Oh, Hayes. Mr. Hayes, you said that this is a response from the African American community and its allies. And if whoever wrote that "Long Live Zimmerman" comment could see what we're seeing today, that person would know, or persons would know, that they are way underrepresented, and that the diversity that we see here today is exactly what they fear and what we celebrate. So glad to see that it is more than African Americans, it is the OSU community that has a concern with this. The second thing I'd like to say is that, frankly, I ran into a few of you in the ladies' room. People think Powers in the men's room. Well, it's in the ladies' room as well. And overheard the conversation about the rally last night, and I'm looking at a few of the individuals that I spoke with. And I want to commend you en masse for coming to us. I also want to commend the individuals who have spoken with us about individual concerns in a way that can help clarify what the issues look like on a one-on-one basis, on an individual basis. So I appreciate those brave women who, after recognizing I was on the board of directors, was still very open in talking to me. And then the last thing is, as Judge Barbley said, the dialogue with you and us, and there's really not a division here, around these issues is so critically important. The things that you have talked about, the things that you have felt, we have felt as well. It wasn't too long ago, I was at the Hale Center giving a speech, and I just reveled in the beauty of it and in what it means. And then, frankly, I'll talk even, Gordon was talking about how Judge Barbley, I'm sorry, about how we found out about this at Academic Affairs. Actually, we were in the executive session of the board meeting when Evan saw it on the email, and all of our iPads were blowing up, and we were passing them all around, so we knew instantly. And then our president knew instantly, and he began to tweet. And we were in a meeting when this was going on, so the importance of it interrupted the flow of what was going on because we recognized the gravity. So this is just to say thank you, and we look forward to ongoing dialogue. We think just as we brought in consultants from the outside to help shape our diversity strategy, you too will help shape our diversity strategy, and we're very grateful to you for that.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak? Let me just tell you where we are. I've been at this too long. I'm not going to have you come in and say, well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. But we're going to talk about it very specifically. I've asked Dr. J, I've already done this, Dr. J and Dr. Lee to lead a task force which will take your recommendation demands and others, and we'll try to hone those and let you report back to me and to the Diversity and Inclusion Committee in 3 weeks. And then at that time we can really make sure that we are strategically moving issues forward. We also will get our external consultants involved. We have hired some of the best external consultants. We have been doing this for about a year of taking a look at an action plan, and this will allow us to bring them in and to accelerate. So I will ask Dr. J, Dr. Lee to reach out and get representatives from the community to get involved. We'll have these recommendations. We'll then bring them to our board and to meet, and we will meet in 3 weeks. So we'll set a time even today to have that meeting take place. So I thank you for coming. I thank you for your leadership. I thank you for your concern. I think that Judge Marbley said it the best, and that is the fact that this is about us. This is not about you. It's about all of us together. If I need to say something which I said yesterday in the meeting, and it's a very personal statement, that is the fact that many of you know that I take great pride in this university. I take great pride in every aspect of it. And having the privilege to return has been a real blessing to me in my life. And anytime there's anything that happens on this campus, I take it very personally. It diminishes me, it diminishes what I stand for, it diminishes what I believe that our leadership is about. So I just want you to clearly understand that this is something that I personally feel very strongly about. So I thank all of you for being here today, and blessings on all of you. I really do appreciate the fact that we've had this opportunity, and your commitment is our commitment. So I hope you understand that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good. I'm glad to see you here, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope that you know that we will work. This is something we will. And hey, I didn't see you. How are you? Good to see you. I mean, it shows how I was impressed.
Well, we found out how the meeting was on. We were really for this last night at the meeting. The students were like, we don't care. Anytime we just want to be here. We appreciate the fact that you
She's terrific. I had a chance to meet with both these guys yesterday. You know, I just kind of showed up like a bad reader.
Right.
And they were, hi, how are you? Good to see you again. How are you doing? Great. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I, you know, the nice thing is very focused. You know that husband please take. I'm proud of you.
I think we're going to get organized. Jan, I'm going to put you back to work as a trustee. The consciously competent and not consciously incompetent. Diversity. And whether it's race, gender, skill set, geography, points of view, that diversity comes in many forms. And one of the incredible assets we have as a board of the university is Dr. Reed. I don't know if you're the leading expert and practitioner. Janet said she said. Well, in case you missed that, Janet said she would say so, and happily she said that because I would agree. And I think it's a real strength. And I think the notion of how we model our behaviors in ethics and thinking, just every aspect of behavior is important. So I think we do reflect, and should reflect the most positive light on the whole university and setting the best possible examples. With that, I'm going to let David Horn do his thing.
A quorum being present, we will reconvene the meeting of the Board of Trustees so that